Hello there everybody, I'm on here and welcome back to PowerWash Simulator 2, where when we last left off, let me see, what the heck had we been doing? I don't even remember really, but I'm sure we were doing something specific. That's right, the planetarium, and we were running around cleaning the damn thing because why the hell not, right? So we have cleaned the walls, that I managed to get. So we've got the floor and the planets. I'm thinking we might actually do the ceiling. I usually leave the ceiling for last, but I think ceiling might be an idea this time. I don't know what the best way to do this is going to be. But I guess we'll just sort of chip away at it and see what we get. Sure, it's almost certainly like split into sections, because big things tend to be split into sections, so yeah. Probably split by eighths. Yes, that's always much. So that's how we'll do it. This is going to take a while, methinks, but I mean, I think we knew that. Still, as I say, once we actually start clearing things up. It'll be interesting when we get to the actual planets. I think we'll probably, as I said, we'll go up onto the ring. I'm not quite sure why there's a ring around the sun, but apparently there is. We'll do that. And we clear a few other things as well while we're at it. I'll admit, there was a lot I didn't appreciate about the solar system till I worked here. I had no idea that in Earth's prehistory it collided with the protoplanet Theia. Did you? Yes, I did. And it's the reason we have a moon. Because I am very much obsessed with space. Yeah, Theia, protoplanet, roughly the size of Mars, hit Earth at a pretty oblique angle. It was kind of a glancing blow, really, more than anything else. And the part that didn't hit Earth formed into the moon. Current simulations show it would have formed pretty quickly, because some people suspect that Earth would have had like a ring of rock around it for a while that then coalesced into the moon. But actually most current simulations show no, the bit that didn't hit, the glancing blow bit, would have turned into basically a ball of liquid rock in space, which would have then clumped together very quickly to form the moon. And then like leftover debris would have then fallen down on either Earth or the moon over the years after that. Of course, that's not the only thing it did. It didn't just create the moon. It is the reason why Earth has the axial tilt that it does. And it's actually the reason why Earth spins at the speed it does. Because we know that Earth's spin is slowing down. We know this because ancient fossils of early water-based life forms used to create layers every day, much like how trees create a new layer every week. I think there's probably still creatures that do it even today on Earth, but we know that they made a layer every single day, and we can tell that the year used to have a lot more days in it. A day, roughly, back when these early life forms were running around, was a mere 6 hours long. And it has, over billions of years, slowed down. Why? Well, you can thank the moon for that. You may be aware the moon is very slowly moving away from Earth, a few centimeters a year, I believe. Can't remember the exact number. But where's that ladder? But obviously the moon moves further away, but tidal forces affect both planetary bodies, of course, and so it causes the Earth to slow down. It is also suspected, in a roundabout way at least, that it may have been at least in part responsible for life on Earth, because the moon, because it was further away than now, obviously, as I said, it's moving away, which means at one point it would have been much, much closer. And so, over the time, especially during the late heavy bombardment, when Earth was peppered or pelted, whichever word you want to use, with comets chucked out by the movement of Neptune and Uranus as they slowly moved out further into the distant reaches of the solar system. It would have absolutely littered the solar system with ice comets. Rain down on planet Earth, the ice eventually melts and turns into water. At least that's one of the places we got water from. There would have just been some naturally around, but it would have been very hot. So, you've got a lot of water on the planet and a moon, which as we know creates tides, very close to Earth. Those tides, if you've ever seen the stupid-ass movie Moonfall, would have been very big. And I mean very big. We're talking literally tens of miles high, crashing into the surface of the planet and churning up the rock. Why is that important? Because that's where all the minerals in the water came from. Combine that with the fact the oceans were slightly acidic, or even very acidic. I'm not entirely sure exactly how acidic they were. But they were acidic, and at the bottom of the ocean there were of course the hydrothermal vents. The cold water around them, the hot water out of the vents, combined with all the minerals and the slightly alkaline water that came out of those hydrothermal vents. And when you combine an acid and an alkali, it tends to generate a little bit of friction, a little bit of an electric charge, which maybe, just maybe, have been responsible for creating life on Earth. Theoretically, anyway. That is, of course, assuming the theory of panspermia isn't true, but if it is, we're probably never going to find evidence of that. It could happen, but I don't know. Anyway, there you go. That's my TED Talk for today. Isn't science fun, ladies and gentlemen? Thought I'd done for them. I missed one. There it goes. quite sure why there's a ring up here. My guess is it could be that someone stands up here and like gives a presentation or something. I don't know. I'd say I probably shouldn't be spraying this much water on the sun, but actually that would just make it burn hotter. Again, isn't science fun, ladies and gentlemen? How does adding water to the sun make it burn hotter? Because the sun isn't a fire, it's a plasma. Plasma is mass that is superheated. You add more mass to the sun, it's just gonna burn hotter. I think the last thing we need right now is the sun burning hotter. Let me just finish. I'll go polish the sun while I'm doing. Ding. Don't ask me to name all these constellation sets. I can name some of them, maybe. Depends on which ones they are. Or are these... Oh, no, wait, these aren't... Well, I mean, yeah, they are constellations. These are the zodiac constellations. I don't know those ones. I only know a couple. In fact, this one's Capricorn, because the thing's telling me. That one's Aquarius. Which one was that? I don't know. Whatever that one was. Oh, that one was Sagittarius. Well, there you go then. That bloody star sign bullshit. What's your sign? Pyrex, I'm a test tube, baby. You really want to mess with someone who believes in all that mumbo jumbo? Tell them that if you apply to the government for a license, you can get your star sign changed. Yeah, I'm Aquarius. Much happier now. You know, back when I was a Capricorn, I was a real depressing bastard. Much happier now. Like, what? Oh yeah, you didn't know. You can get a license to change your star sign. They get very confused. Aries? Oh, that one was Pisces, was it? Taurus. For a second I thought there were 5. I was like, huh, that's weird. They split it into 5. No, there are 4. was like, oh, that's weird. Why isn't it gone pick? Oh, wait, I missed a bit. I didn't. Well, no, I didn't just miss a bit. I missed a lot. You to return to one of our historic streetcars. Ooh, that's fun. Not gonna have another bloody surprise in the middle of it, is it? Like the time I had to clean out a bloody toilet and then it, well, no, it wasn't a toilet. It looked like a bench and then it turned out to be a bloody toilet. Okay. Do this, and we do the big middle ceiling bit. And then we head down, I guess. Nice. Nice. Is that everything up here? I think so. Gotta do the underside of this, of course. Oh joy. Yeah, we'll do that next. I was thinking, should we get the floor done? But no, we'll do this. Ding. Alright, now we'll get the floor done, I think. He thinks this one's going to take quite a bit of time. If you've cleaned it yet, but we've taken a slice out of the earth so you can see the cross section of the geologic layers. Take a look in there, you see these big red blobs very deep within the earth. Can you see them? They're parts of Theia. Wow, that is very up-to-date information. I didn't mention that earlier because I thought, if I start saying that, I'm going to sound like I know way too much about this. But yes, it's true. There have been tests run and stuff about the sort of inner part of the mantle, and yes, it has been determined that there are big blobs under the surface that are suspected to be the remnants of Theia. That is 100% true. As I say, I didn't mention it because I thought I was probably too up to date. I can't imagine the devs of this game would even know about that. But no, apparently I underestimated their knowledge of space. My fault, I suppose. Nice. Might take a while, but I think if we just slowly spiral our way inside, it should work out. That's weird. Why is that not coming up? It's just mud and dirt and stuff. You'd think that it would. He thinks I should clean around this so I don't have to do it later. Oh, those aren't stains. That's supposed to be the asteroid belt. I thought they were just really stubborn stains. I was genuinely surprised. I was like, huh, that's weird. Oh, I was like, wow, they're really consistent around this chunk of the level, aren't they? Sorry, that's really funny. Oh god. Ding. the stand-up button? Let's go shift. I wondered why the dirt was so specific. I was like, huh, that's odd. But oh, right. Yeah. They're asteroids. Rest of they have formed the moon. Correct. We've made the baby trying to find it have a beautiful little baby Earth. Yep. The rest of it is buried beneath our feet. Yes. It's kind of a miracle it's left, but I guess it kind of just shows how tough all that stuff really was. I mean, yeah, it was basically the inner parts of the planet were left inside ours. Space is interesting. I love it. Random and interesting facts about every planet in the system. I'll tell you as I clean them. If I remember, because we'll probably have a break and then I'll have forgotten. the inner planets, it's going to be a bit awkward in some places. I figured I'd start doing it like this, and to just sort of mix things up a little bit. Well, I would say let's finish this bit off and then we'll get a cup of tea, but I think, yeah, I've got quite a bit left to do. And I'd be thirsty. So, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to get a drink and we will wrap up. There's not too much more left to do, only 15%, so it should be good fun. But yes, we will finish off when I get back. See you in a minute, guys. And we are back. Alright. Finish cleaning the floor. Then I think maybe we'll do that bit up there. Might be an idea anyway. I don't know. See what I'm feeling like. Almost there. Almost. bit. Nice. One at a time. One at a time. Polish up this level and then... Is it the tram next? Or a train or something? There's a button. I'm going to have to push that before we wrap up. Do remind me. Because I will forget otherwise. No point in starting it until it's all nice and clean. Well, hey. Too far. It's good at cleaning, but it ain't that bloody good. Okay. We may as well do that because I'm not going to get underneath there with that flat thing. It's a nice thought, but probably not going to work. That is correct. Doppler beaming disc, photon sphere, event horizon shadow. Yeah, close enough. You mentioned the Hawking radiation, but I'm like, okay. Right. I mean, a planetarium getting that wrong would be quite surprising. Do not use unauthorized. That can't tell me what to do. I can't read. The only thing I know how to do is to power wash. Gas giants. If you're thinking, hang on a second, why are there only 2 in the gas giant section? Because these are ice giants. They're too cold to be considered regular gas giants. Isn't science fun, everyone? Okay. What do we got left? We just got the planets, don't we? So we have Mercury. Can we try with it? Okay, what interesting thing can I tell you about Mercury? Well, let me think. Mercury is an odd planet. Obviously, it's the closest planet to the sun. It's the temperature difference between day and night is literally like, I think it's like 300 something degrees during the day, and it's like minus 200 something at night. It's one of the wildest temperature strings anywhere in the solar system. As a planet itself, it's very odd because it is almost entirely a giant ball of iron. Basically what you would normally have as the core of the planet, and a surprisingly thin crust. We don't exactly know why. Current working theory is that Mercury did not, was not sort of created that close to the sun, and actually drifted in from the outer regions, sort of somewhere around the area of Jupiter, and that an impact may have carved off some of its mantle. Don't really know exactly. It's, as I say, it's a bit of an odd one. But hey-ho, that is just kind of the way it goes with planets. They're all kind of odd, because there's no such thing as a typical planet. They all have quirks and oddities about them. And that is what makes them fun. Alright, what am I missing on Venus? So Venus, what can I tell you about Venus? Well, hottest planet in the solar system by quite a metric actually. It is incredibly hot and incredibly toxic on the surface of the planet, frequently referred to as Earth's twin. It is comparable in size. It's a little bit smaller. I think it's about 95% the size of Earth, but it's close enough. And if it wasn't for the fact it was so close to the sun, Venus would probably be habitable as well. And it's believed that, at least in its early period, there would have been a lot of water on the surface of Venus, much like there was on Earth. Unfortunately, its proximity to the sun meant it warmed up too much. And it essentially led to a runaway greenhouse effect that has essentially boiled the planet. There is no liquid water on the surface. Now, theoretically, we could, well, as I say, theoretically terraform Venus, but to do that, we'd first have to start by cooling it off, and that means blocking heat from the sun. Technically possible, although how exactly we do that, I don't know, it's anybody's guess. But yes, Venus is a very interesting planet. There are some people who theorize that life in a bacterial form may exist in the clouds around it, but we don't know, to be perfectly honest. It could happen, it might not. It's very hard to say, but it's an interesting idea. And we've only ever sent one probe successfully to the surface of Venus, and it lasted a grand total of, I think it was 8 minutes or 12 minutes, something like that. It did not last very long. Haunting pictures looking at it. But definitely an interesting place. This is a general principle. Of course, this is a planet that I, well, quite frankly, shouldn't need to have to tell you about. Some kid took a bite out of the moon. I also thought it was white chocolate. It shouldn't be spinning like that either. I wondered why it was spinning. He took a bite out of it. There's no bite marks. It's still a solid lump. Probably heard the stories about the moon being made of cheese, and so assumed that meant all the versions of it too. I do not know where the stories of the moon being made of cheese come from. I'm assuming it's just like a kid's fairy story or something. I'll be honest with you, I don't actually know. And there you go then. So Earth, presumably a planet that needs no introduction. You know, it's where literally every single human being in the history of history was born. It is, you know, it's our home. You know, honestly, there's nothing I can tell you about this that you can't learn on the bloody Discovery Channel or whatever particular channel you favor for that kind of stuff, or just learning about stuff on the internet, because that's fun too. Yeah, I mean, it's Earth. There's nothing extra I can tell you about bloody Earth, is there? Right, where's Mars? This is Mars. Mars is a very fascinating planet. Mars, funnily enough, should have been much bigger than it currently is, because it's only about a third the size of Earth. So why should it have been bigger? Well, there was actually a lot more debris kicking around, and I don't just mean the asteroid belt, although that is a part of it. It is believed that very early in its life, our big old boy Jupiter, over there I assume, went wandering. And he went wandering inwards, and unfortunately gobbled up most of the debris that would have made Mars grow much, much bigger. Because of that, Mars was too small, and unfortunately the internals of the planet cooled too quickly. Because of that, it lost access to its magnetic field, and because of that, the sun's solar wind was able to slowly pick away at its atmosphere, and it just couldn't hold on to it. And so the planet slowly cooled and became an ice desert. And it is Mars that we have it now. Obviously, often suspected to have life on it. Even today, it is a candidate for life. Potentially, there are potential signs. They could have natural reasons. They might not. There could be life on Mars. And obviously, the destination we're trying to get to for next step of human habitation, which I think is fascinating. I almost certainly will not live to see a human being set foot on Mars. You never know, it could happen, but probably not. Not in my lifetime, I don't think. Not with all these billionaires running around fucking everything up. Just leave it to the professionals, guys. Just give the professionals the money. Stop trying to do it yourself. Anyway, next up, we have, of course, the big boy. Jupiter. Largest planet in the solar system. And yes, both terrifying and enthralling in very equal measure. And hey, look, they even got the Great Red Spot. And it's about as pale as it should be. That's actually something that's weird, is the Great Red Spot is slowly fading away. It's much paler now than it was when it was first discovered. And it's also shrinking. And it's believed that, I mean, you know, the pale red spot is not something that's going to last forever. Nothing in the solar system does. It's in a constant state of flux. So, eventually, maybe in our lifetime, maybe not. But, yeah, the Great Red Spot will not be around anymore. Sad, but, I mean, as I said, nothing in the solar system really lasts forever, so you should be used to that by now. We like to think of the solar system as a nice, stable place, but Jupiter, of all things, very much tells us that it is not. Jupiter is often considered a sort of protector of the inner solar system. Its strong gravitational pull gobbling up any asteroids that might head our way. And, for goodness sake. And whilst that is technically true, unfortunately the inverse is true as well. It's just as likely to lob something in our direction as not. But it does help. It is a thing. It helps. Of course, Jupiter has a lot of moons, hundreds, really, when you think about it. I think the main four, assuming I'm not misremembering that, are Io, Callisto, Ganymede, and Europa, which is all fantastic. And, oh, which one is it? Is it Europa? I forget which moon it is specifically. It's one of them, and I'm forgive me, I'm blanking on the exact one it is, but is another potential candidate for life, believe it or not. It's an icy planet, but it is believed, maybe, that there is an ocean of liquid water underneath the ice, because we have detected giant plumes of ice shooting out of the tiger stripes, giant cracks of ice in the southern surface of the planet. And it's believed that tidal friction, because of the other moons in the system combined, of course, with the immense gravity of Jupiter, might heat a subsurface ocean. We're not sure. Again, it's something we'd have to physically send a probe to look at, and there's ideas on the drawing board, but that's going to be a difficult ask in general. Getting a probe there is fine, but how the hell do you get a probe under the ice? It's a good bloody question. No one's really sure, but I'm sure, as I say, the scientists are working on it. I don't quite know why there is a particular rocket racing around this one, other than I guess it looks cool, but... Nice. God damn it. Nice. So yeah, Jupiter, fascinating bloody planet. It's one of those things that kind of makes me laugh when you see a planet around like a gas giant. Like, have you ever seen the movie Avatar? Because I think most people saw the first one and then didn't give a shit about the rest of them. That is a planet that's around a gas giant, and the thing you've got to be careful with around gas giants, there's a lot of radiation that they spit out. You know? Like, I mean a lot of radiation. As in, pretty much everything on planet Avatar would be cooked. Or is it, what's it called? Pandora, was it? I only remember that because I remember thinking, hey, that's two alien planets that are called Pandora, because, of course, it came out around the same time Borderlands did, so I remember thinking about that. Hang on a minute. Am I getting my planets mixed up? I am, aren't I? That's a bloody planet of Saturn, not a planet of... Sorry, the moon I was talking to you about. The ice one. I think it's a planet of Saturn, not Jupiter. Or am I getting... Oh, God. See, this is the thing. I got so many facts, they start crossing wires in my head, and I kind of forget. That might actually be a planet of Saturn. I might be misremembering that. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Because I was thinking, oh, I'm pretty sure one of them is Jupiter and one of them is Saturn for, like, potential points of life. But actually, I'm thinking about it. I said I might be just getting them the wrong way around, so apologies. Yeah, because the plumes are building one of the rings, aren't they? That's why I'm thinking that, yeah. Ain't I? Should be Europa. You're right, it is Europa. Yes, quite right. I think Io... Isn't Io the volcanic one? Around Jupiter? And Europa is... the... I should have remembered it's Europa because that's where the... that's where the game... what was that called? The Turing test is set. That's set on Europa, and they do find life there, and that was the point. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting my moons mixed up. I mean, in my defense, between the two of them, Jupiter and Saturn, they have like 500 fucking moons. So, you know, there's a lot of mass out there in the outer solar system. It's just kind of dwarfed by all the bigger planets. So yeah, Europa, planet of... Saturn is the one that might house life. As I say, was getting confused. Very sorry about that. What else can I tell you about Saturn? Well, obviously the rings. I mean, that's like its big thing. Comprised pretty much entirely of water ice, which is why they're so bright. And it is believed a moon made of water ice, almost entirely. Just got a little bit too close to Saturn and kind of got tore apart once it entered the Roche limit, which is how close a body can get to a planet before being torn apart. Oh, they did do it! Look, they kept the hexagon. Yes, so for reasons that are completely unknown, and if you ever watch me play Observation, you will know that the poles of Saturn have hexagon storms. We don't know entirely why. It's believed to be how the storms interact with the very strong magnetic field of Saturn. But it's one of those things where we don't know. They just look like that. It's one of those things you got to say, well, I'm sure we'll find out one day, but for now, we do not know. What's the other fun planet about Saturn? Well, planet, moon. Although technically it's so big it might as well be a planet. Is Titan. The only other body in the entire solar system that has a liquid on the surface. How can a moon, technically a planet, because I think Titan is like the third largest rocky body in the solar system. Earth, for the record, is the actual biggest body of rock in the entire solar system. By pure happenstance, that happens to be us. But, yeah. I think Titan is like the third or the fourth. I forget exactly which. But it's up there. It's pretty big. And it has a liquid on it. Not liquid water, as you can probably guess. That far away from the sun, the water is basically as hard as steel. It is covered with liquid methane. And not just liquid. It actually has a full methanological cycle, where the methane is heated by the very thin light from the sun, evaporates, goes up into the air, and then very slowly rains down into giant lakes and pools and potentially even oceans of liquid methane. But the gravity on Titan is so low and it is so cold, the raindrops get to about the size of a golf ball, and then they very, very slowly sink down like a feather, which I think is an amazing fucking sight. Just the concept of that. Golf ball sized globules of methane falling like a feather. Nice. And here, of course, we have the punchline of the solar system. Uranus. And yes, that is how I pronounce it, so shut the hell up. And you're probably sitting there thinking, hang on a second. Uranus doesn't have rings. Yes, it does. Uranus has rings. Honestly, they don't look anything like this. They are very thin, very fragile, and very dark. They're made of rock as opposed to ice like Saturn's ones. And yeah, they were only discovered relatively recently. The other thing to point out is that this is actually slightly off. Well, okay, it's debatable exactly how much it's tilted, but it's actually believed that Uranus is basically lying on its side. So its pole basically points at the sun. Now this is probably done just for the sake of show, but unlike all the other planets which spin the same way they rotate, Uranus basically goes around the sun on its side. kind of rolling around at the speed of sound. That's actually something that's interesting too about Saturn. Here's a fun fact. You know how we have north being up and south being down? If that were true, Saturn is upside down. Because its north is actually at the bottom as we think of it. Because technically north and south, that's a human invention. You know, that's only correlates to Earth. The solar system doesn't have an up and down, not really. There's a sort of a planetary plane with an up and a down. But north and south are very much a Earth thing, as we think of up and down. So yeah, Saturn is technically upside down, as we would think of it. And Venus, believe it or not, I forgot to mention this, actually rotates the wrong way. All of the planets in the solar system all spin in the same direction because it's all to do with like centrifugal forces and all that sort of stuff. Again, that's where my knowledge starts to sort of break down a little bit. But Venus actually rotates the other way, and we don't know why. Again, we have theories, but we're not 100% sure. It could be any reason, really. Where's the bit I'm missing? There. So yes, as I said, every single planet in this in our entire solar system has its bizarre quirks. You know, there's so much weird stuff. But that's why I love space. Because it's fucking terrifying. But it's also really fucking cool. How do I keep missing bits? Especially the lights. How the hell am I missing these lights? I thought I did them. Right. So what can we say about Neptune? Well, despite being the planet furthest from the sun, it is not the generally coldest. That honor goes to Uranus. Mostly because Uranus is a relatively calm planet, as large balls of gas go. Neptune, on the other hand, is actually a bit of a firebug. Again, for an ice giant. It has the highest wind speed recorded anywhere in the solar system, I believe. With winds whiffing around at literally hundreds of miles an hour. I don't actually remember the number off the top of my head, so I'm not going to quote something that's potentially wrong. It obviously has a lot of moons and a lot of other stuff going on. There is one moon, I forget the name, I want to say it's Triton, but I might be getting the name wrong, or getting my planets mixed up again. That actually has volcanic activity of a sort. It sort of has geysers because the planet's surface is so dark with whatever material it's currently made of. I forget exactly what. The very minor light from the sun is enough to warm it up. Nothing that would have like life or anything like that, but not that far out. Hey! Good. I also got an achievement then. I don't think you guys saw the pop-up, but cleaning the sun first and then all the planets in inner to outer order, that got me an achievement. Didn't even know that was a thing, but, you know, I'm a geek, so that is exactly something I do. Now, before we Can we get rid of this job? Okay, tell you what, we'll watch this first. Because we need to. Nice. Absolutely stellar performance. Ah, the puns. Can't wait to show the kids some proper concrete science. Venus's retrograde rotation, the moons of Jupiter, and the imminent visitation of our feline planet X overlords. Alright, hang on. No, not yet. Ooh. It moves. And yet it moves. Is that it? Is that all it does? It just rotates? Huh. I don't know, I guess I was expecting something a bit more. Well, I suppose spinning is so much cooler than not spinning, so we'll leave it like that, shall we? Right. Oh, we've got 9,000. I can buy upgrades. Swish. Just that one left, but I never used that one anyway, so... cool. I've only got 2 left after that. Nope, wrong one. Nice. Alright, on to the next. Following a successful crowdfunding campaign, we're bringing our historic streetcars out of retirement. Not only have we named each of them after notable historic figures from the town, we've also added AI pilots. Oh god. Train on authentic historic data to create the ultimate tour guides for our residents. Every journey with us promises a unique and insightful experience. Today you'll be watching Penelope Proof, 1810 to 1856, Gento's most prolific baker. She was also an amateur sleuth, famous for crowbarring herself into any ongoing criminal investigation. The streetcars lay dormant for quite a while, though, so some of the dirt might take some shifting. So, a baker that is an amateur detective and helps with criminal investigations, that is like a TV series waiting to happen. In fact, I'm fairly certain that is a series. What the hell was the name of that series? It wasn't a woman, it was a guy. And I want to say it was called Pie in the Sky. And he's like a chef that helps the... He's like a retired detective or something like that. And now he's a chef. And they occasionally drag him out of mothballs to help with investigations and stuff. Oh, God almighty. That is like an 80s show. I barely remember that. I should look that up. I need to check that actually during the break. Well, okay then. Oh, sure. How interesting. The tram is talking to me. The tram is talking to me. I feel I should be more concerned about that. Anybody else feel I should be concerned about that? Nice. Oh, well, it's 10 o'clock. And I think... Hey, look, that's what I cleaned earlier. I think we're going to have to leave the rest of this. It's talking to me, which is a bit of a worry. Apparently the AI in this thing is a little more sophisticated than you might think. That is definitely scary. Back in a minute, guys. And we are back. Alright, let's... Yeah, I might need something else to work on that. Let's hope this... You know, bloody Herbie type thing doesn't talk to me too sodding much. But they probably will. Let me introduce myself. I'm Penelope Poole, full-time baker, part-time detective, out of hours, tittle-tattle. No, you're... never mind. I'm not baking muffins, I'm busy solving crimes, and right now the oven's off. Oh, I never looked up that show. God damn it. They're gonna bug me now. little bits am I missing? Is that? Oh, no, we did get the wood frame. I'm sure I saw something else. No? Well, okay then. That might help. Good. Okay, we got that. Roof, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess we can do the roof bit next. As soon as you started washing, I could see from your get-up that something wasn't right. Why would a power washer conceal their identity like that? What is it that they don't want me to know? That I'm technically just an NPC in a video game and so are you. Sorry, something was creaking. I was like, what on earth is that noise? I think it was my radiator cooling off, actually. We had the heating on a little bit earlier. I didn't think it was that cold, but apparently someone else did. Oh well. Alright, what am I missing? I think that's everything on the outside. Let me check. Nope, that's the wrong one. Armrest. I don't know. I was kind of hoping that it will be listed separately. They were not. Reading ahead was swimming with more questions than answers, like a half-torn quiz book floating in the seven seas. That is oddly specific, but okay. That last bit. I keep not paying attention when these... It's why I stop, actually, because I'm like... If I don't pay attention, these things go away and there's no way to get them back. Nice. He thinks getting all the little details is going to start taking a bit of time in this one. Doing that methinks thing again, I've got to stop doing that. It's weird, and I don't know why my brain keeps defaulting to it. Oh, a van tucked away. Sure, they need equipment on the job, but how much? Surprising amount considering how much I've bought. Maybe there was more to the van than meets the eye. Well, I don't know. You can't go inside it. Maybe there's something else hiding in there. I think at this very moment the entire country was looking for. County, I think that probably was. Are you implying that I'm the one who nicked the pearl? No, couldn't be me. I was literally on a job when it happened. There. I think we weren't ever going to go click. That one. Get all this done. It's looking much better now, although I think we need to catch up on the down bit first. Ah. I didn't realise that was an option. Very good. What have we got left? Just the front cab? And probably a few bits and pieces that I missed somewhere along the way. There's always something I've missed. Nice. Alright, what else is there? The handle. We've got... What are you pointing at? Oh! Did I miss that? Oh. Let me out. I always forget the bloody wing mirrors. Way. I managed to track Karen down. Come quick, bring everything you've got. What is that? Looks like a house made out of plane parts? What? What is with this place? It is so weird. Thank you for understanding the effort. Apologize for the minor interrogation for Penelope. It will take her offline for now. Don't want to throw accusations at everyone that gets on board. Hopefully people can entertain themselves by looking out the window or something. But generally speaking, that's what you do, isn't it? So this is the house where Karen's staying. They call themselves Guardians of the Forest. To say it's a bit eccentric is an understatement, but you have to respect the ingenuity of anyone who could knock up something like this from a repurposed treehouse and an aircraft they dredged up from the nearby lake. Karen's definitely onto something, so I'm going to stay for a while and want to help her out with her investigation. As you know, though, I have my standards. I'm sure they'll appreciate the place getting a deep clean. So what, is Karen investigating the missing gem or something? Is that what I'm being led to believe here? Oh, for fuck's sake. Look, we did a treehouse in the first game. For the record. It was annoying in that one too. Is that the first time we've been able to see the moon in one of these levels? I feel like a clock has just started ticking. Karen here, she'll give me your numbers as her coverage might drop off out here. As you know that we're surveying Mount Ursulus all day and everyone else is out or asleep, so you've got the place to yourself. As I always do. I mean, can you imagine doing PowerWash Simulator, but you've also got to, like, keep an eye out for pedestrians and stuff? That'd be really fucking irritating. May have overshot a little bit. What the heck am I missing? There. All right. Okay, what do we got? What do we got, like, around? Oh no, those are just windows. I thought, hang on, is that like a weird thing? No, it's just a window. Michelle says that I should tell you what we're up to out here, but be warned, Michelle thinks we're far more interesting than we are. No, please do tell me. It's probably got something to do with the moon exploding. Which is why it's up there in the sky now. It's getting ready to blow. Nice. What next? I don't know, I'm just picking things at random at the moment. Alright, which bit am I missing? Ah. Yep, that'll do it. This is a very flowery airplane. Get up there. Well, hey. Oh, Jesus Christ, that was bright. They are blinded by the sun. Which is out by owing my weirdness and say I've always been sensitive to vibrations and frequencies. To me, certain places have their own signatures. Where Michelle and I are right now, on this bank jutting out of the volcano, there's this unique feel all around us. It's part of why I love it. Okay. So did Karen not nick the gem? Hang on a second, if you like hums and frequencies, what's about the hum from the beam hum? Why don't you like that? Does it go with the wrong frequency or something? Where was the... Was that there? Didn't we have a... You. Nice. That's really bright. Have some lens flare. Actually, have an end of the stream because it looks as though we are out of time. But we managed to do 20% of this. So that's not terrible. Yeah, so I don't know what the hell is going to happen with the moon exploding or anything like that. That was apparently predicted in that one level. I don't know. It's pretty bloody weird. I need to check what those pictures were. Like, go back to my video and look at them, because I'm like, I think it was predicting the future, but I'm not 100% sure. But it is weird that that's apparently where we're going. I have no idea. Like, at this point, I'm just cleaning. I'm in it for the cleaning, and if they happen to throw a batshit insane plot at the same time, sure, that's fine. I'm okay with it. Thank you all for watching, everybody. I do hope you have enjoyed this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.